4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning. Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. Good morning.
Oh my gosh, that was too good. It's been a minute. We haven't had a normal episode in 3 weeks because we had a guest on and then a couple weeks off because of different things. It's good to be back. A lot of fun.
I've been wearing the same shirt for 3 weeks.
This is the exact same shirt Jace was wearing the last time we had an episode. Let's get it started. Got a lot to talk about. We got some catching up to do.
RBG.
Yeah, that happened, right?
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah. That's brutal. I didn't think it was going to happen this year. I thought she was, I don't know, the reports were kind of saying she was doing pretty good and everything. And yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere for me.
Like every form of cancer. She was a freaking trooper, dude.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't it? I don't even know what type of cancer it was, but it was just, yeah, she had it like twice and made it through that. And then, yeah, that's brutal.
Coney Barrett. That's next in line. Trump will get 3 if it goes through.
Trump's gonna get.
So what 3. What do you think, Senator? As far as the Senate goes, hypocrites if they take her up.
I think a little bit, but also like I don't subscribe to that argument very much because Democrats in 2016 when Obama was trying to like nominate Merrick Garland, the Democrats were saying, "Oh, you have to let it through. Like you should let it through," and like so they're both hypocrites.
Yeah. So I take issue with the Democrats' argument, but I take issue with the Republicans' policy by doing it, right? Because the Republicans said we're not going to let or Barack Obama, we're not going to let this pick through. Sorry, before the next election, which was that same year, and then. Now the Democrats are saying we're not going to let it through. We don't want to let it through because it's in the same year. So they're hypocrites on both sides, but the Republicans did it already. The Republicans actually did it.
Yeah, but
and Lindsey Graham came out and said that you could hold it to him if he was in like the confirmation hearing for the then candidate or nominee. What was Obama's nomination? Merrick Garland. He said in that nomination process, I'm going to vote no, and you can hold me to it in the next election. If it's Trump's last year in his presidency, I'll vote no.
I think he's
going to vote yes.
I think there's a difference, though, between a president that doesn't have the Senate trying to push one through. I don't know. I don't love it.
Yeah, I don't take issue with Trump nominating someone. He has every right to do so, but I have an issue
with the
Republican senators.
From the senators' side, because they even made that argument, because Clinton made that argument, right? Mm-hmm. Bill Clinton said, if the Senate and the House, or the Senate and the presidency are like at odds, like you shouldn't do a nomination, but that it's fine if the presidency and the Senate both have it. And it's like 27 out of the 29 times that there's been a Supreme Court vacancy in an election year, there's been a nomination. Yeah. Like, so it's difficult. I think it's hypocritical from both sides, but I don't know. I don't think the Democrats should use the argument like, oh, like in 2016 you said this, like whatever. It's just not, it doesn't make sense to me.
I think they'll get it through, first of all, and I think that you'll see. Shoot, what's her name? I don't know if they have the vote from Lisa Murkowski. I don't know if they have the vote from what's that other Republican senator's name from Maine? I think.
I can't remember. I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
They have enough votes because Romney said he was gonna do it. And they only need 50.
Romney could have killed it.
I don't know. They needed 5 to flip, right? Because if it's a perfect tie, it goes to Pence.
Right. So I think it's only 53-51 in majority for the Republicans, right?
No.
Oh wait, that doesn't even add up.
No,
that doesn't even add up. That's 104. There's 2 senators from every state.
Yeah. So we can glance past that real quick. I think they had it kind of no matter what, but the only way they could have done it is if every single borderline Republican senator flipped, and they got one that's pretty solid, like party line voter to flip as well. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a ton of problem with Trump pushing it through. It's funny that it's a weird argument that Democrats are like, man, like you guys in 2016 were saying the opposite of what you're saying now. It's like, but obviously they were arguing against you saying what they're saying now, right? Yeah. So what if it had gone through? They'd be trying to not let Trump nominate this year. It's hard to judge people based on like, okay, because this did happen. Now, I don't know.
So Coney Barrett goes through. Republicans have almost basically like a super majority equivalent in the Supreme Court. Did they overturn Roe v. Wade?
One sec. Before we talk about that, I just want to, while we're still on the like kind of topic of the process of the Supreme Court nomination, it's the Democrats' fault that this happened. Harry Reid in 2013 was the one that changed it, so you only need a simple majority to nominate a Supreme Court justice.
Got up and he said, "You will rue the day.
You are going to regret this." Exactly. I don't like changing institutions so for political wins is the dumbest thing to me. It doesn't make any sense to me, because I was watching a YouTube video and their thing was they were talking about the Supreme Court, and they said their line was shenanigans beget shenanigans. Like, if one side pulls something, the other side's going to do the same thing. So now Trump's going to get a justice, and then if Biden wins and they win the Senate, they're going to try and stack the court. What
do you mean stack the court? You think they're going to try to add more Supreme Court seats?
Yeah, because there's not a
the Supreme Court will.
There's not a constitutional limit. They can do it. They've done it a bunch of times throughout the history, and they've already said they're going to do it, and they're going to stack the Supreme Court. If not the Supreme Court, they're going to stack the lower courts.
Well, the Senate's not going to flip, I don't think.
I don't know. So that's what it depends on, right? But just playing with institutions so that you can get a victory is the dumbest thing, because it's always going to come back and bite you, right? If it was still the 60 person majority, or initially it was 2/3, you had to have 2/3 of the Senate vote to confirm. And largely that's how it was. Like, not a lot of, it was usually almost unanimous decisions for Supreme Court nominees. Mm-hmm. And then they flipped it down to you need 60. And then Harry Reid was like, man, like, wouldn't it be nice if we just had the majority in the Senate, if we could get a Supreme Court nomination? Oops. Let's go down to 51. Yeah.
Oops.
That's too bad.
Mitch McConnell called it. He got up and said, "You will regret this day sooner than you think."
Exactly. And 7 years later.
How crazy is that guy?
That
guy's a political genius. Probably the smartest politician elected in federal office right now.
He knows what he's doing.
But that dude plays politics like chess.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing for sure. But it's crazy to me that you're gonna they kind of shot himself in the foot.
You know what's even crazier to me? Ted Cruz was on the short list for this.
He was on the short. Yeah.
Ted Cruz.
That's wild. I don't know how much you can read into short.
It's like a political. It's like a political joke, pretty much.
Or if not a joke, just to be able to say that you were on the short list, they put people on the short list. And I don't know exactly how it works, and if I'm not in Trump's cabinet, knowing all the decisions, but I think that I don't know how likely, because even well before RBG died, it was Coney Barrett was going to be the replacement. I had heard that name floated around. It was going to be her,
Kavanaugh.
Yeah, exactly. They almost did Kavanaugh, right? Or they almost did her instead of Kavanaugh. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Ted Cruz ever was really gonna be.
Well, what's funny is I don't know if you've seen on Twitter or Instagram, but they've been calling her a colonizer because she adopted 2 black children from Haiti.
They're gonna win Trump the presidency because of that. Because people are going to see that, and or bagging
on her for being Catholic.
Yeah, so
whoops, Democrats need those votes.
Maybe I largely don't agree with a lot of her decisions, her record as a justice, but you can't attack her for that stuff. You can't pull a Kavanaugh.
They're going to have a hard time not doing it.
They're going to get Trump reelected.
Good luck. You have senators like Senator Hirono and Blumenthal that are going to try and pick out pieces like that.
Just
attack her on her policy, on her views of the Constitution.
Exactly. So, and I can do that 100%, but I don't think they're smart enough to, not smart enough, but I don't think they're restrained enough to just go after that. Just talk about that. And they're going to attack her religion. They're going to attack, I don't know if the senators will attack her adopting the kids from Haiti, but
probably not.
But people are, and people are going to see that and vote for Trump. And it just is crazy to me that they're going to, that seems to be kind of a running theme with the Democrats, that they shoot themselves in the foot a lot on things that should be pretty straightforward.
Well, and they tried doing that partially with Kavanaugh too. He was linked to, that one group, it was some religious group.
Everything else was so loud with Kavanaugh. I don't remember that.
Dude, I watched almost all of the confirmation hearings. I sat for hours watching those. Mm-hmm. I think the Supreme Court confirmation hearings are the most interesting.
Yeah.
They're crazy, dude.
Because anyone going to the Supreme Court is really smart. They're super intelligent, and so just to see that is really interesting. But
do you think they overturn Roe v. Wade? Trump gets Amy Coney Barrett?
No.
So I think no. A lot of people think they will. I think there's not a chance. It'll never be overturned, in my opinion. And there was a case that went before the Supreme Court. It had gone through the appellate court, and it had to do with restricting a state restricting abortion rights.
And they ruled in favor of Roe v. Wade,
The appellate court ruled in favor of
the state.
Not in favor of the state. So they said the state's restrictions on abortion was illegal. So this was about a year or so ago.
Yeah.
4 months after Kavanaugh was confirmed, and the justices in the Supreme Court to take on a case, they actually vote.
Did they upheld it? Or
so they voted on whether to take on this case, which could potentially overturn the lower court's decision that ruled what the state was doing was illegal, and the Supreme Court and Justice Kavanaugh said, I don't want to vote on this, and which means that the lower court decision holds.
Yeah.
And people think that's going to be the starting point for people think Kavanaugh is not going to vote to overturn Roe v. Wade. I don't think he will. I could see Gorsuch voting to overturn it. I think that why am I blanking? The Chief Justice why am I blanking
Roberts?
on this? Yeah, Roberts. John Roberts. I don't know if he votes to overturn Roe v. Wade, which means the Republicans have maybe 2 or 3.
Well, and Amy Coney Barrett, if you look at her record, she's a very I can't remember there's some Latin term for it, that they basically almost always go on precedent. Very rarely, her kind of judicial belief is that the Supreme Court should very rarely overturn previous decisions.
That's the rule.
Yeah.
It should only be if something egregious, if there's an egregious decision that's so
Dred Scott, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think people are overreacting. I was seeing on TikTok people it was a nice to be a woman for 15 years. Now I won't be able to and obviously that's insane people, but I think people are overreacting on that. I don't think the change, and they do it every time. When Gorsuch was nominated, when Kavanaugh was nominated, now with Amy Coney Barrett, it's always, this is the end of all civil rights. We're gonna go back to the 1800s, and it never happens. It never it's never like that. I don't remember the last time there was a case that, and even there was some case about not gay marriage, but something with LGBTQ rights, and Kavanaugh and Roberts ruled with the liberal justices.
Are you talking about whether gays could be fired in the workplace?
That one, yeah.
No, it was Gorsuch and Roberts.
Was it Gorsuch and Roberts?
Gorsuch and Roberts voted with the
was
liberals.
It?
Yeah.
There was another case though that Kavanaugh voted with the liberals. Like it.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think that people are overreacting on that one, in my opinion.
I think that overall justices are less political on big issues than people think they are.
Well, that's why you have the life appointments, right? Like, and that's another thing that Democrats are like, oh, we should change that. Like, it's ridiculous that you can appoint a justice for life and then your party gets voted out.
But that's in the Constitution.
They'd have to change the Constitution,
amendment.
yeah. But I think that's one of the smartest things the founding fathers did to keep the Supreme Court like kind of impartial. And that's part of the reason that before you needed 2/3 of the Senate or 60 senators was because then you had to have most people agree. And
right, the justice had to be totally new. Like,
exactly. It had to bring them down the center.
Neutral.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe you could get away with a little bit of like interpretation one way or the other. Now it's completely like you could have the most extreme Supreme Court justice, and if you have 51 senators that'll vote for it, if you have 50 senators that will vote for it and the presidency, you're good. You're good. You got to push it through.
It's the Democrats' fault. They have only themselves to blame.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me that, and I keep seeing that like, oh, like it shouldn't be lifetime appointments. Like Supreme Court justices should be like voted in. Changing institutions for political gain never works. It never helps people in the long run. Because even if it helps you this election, and even if I agree with your views this election, what about next election when like the people we don't agree with are in power and get to use that exact same kind of loophole that you set up?
Yeah, it's interesting. Did you see the Democrats pass like a $2.2 trillion coronavirus relief package?
I didn't see
House?
that. How long ago was
trillion.
that?
Just this last week.
Yeah.
It won't. I don't think it'll get past the Senate, but
probably not.
The Federal Reserve right now is just
Printing,
here you guys go.
Here
you guys
money.
go. Here you go, economy.
It's crazy. We're back. They had a pretty good week for gaining jobs, like 700,000 new jobs. People were back in work, but yeah, it's the Federal
economy
Reserve
is so ballooned right now.
Yeah,
that balloon is gonna pop.
I don't know what's gonna happen
as November hits and the election day. If Joe Biden gets elected, or maybe if Trump gets elected too.
Yeah, what do you think about like on election day? How do you see that going?
Well, it won't be decided on election day. It's going to come down to Arizona. It's going to come down to Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
It may come down to... Actually, I really think it'll come down to one of those two states. It'll come down to Arizona or Nevada will win for either candidate.
I think it's Nevada.
If it comes down to Nevada, I don't know who's going to win. I did an election prediction. I had Joe Biden winning by like literally 3 electoral votes because I think Trump wins Pennsylvania. I think he wins Ohio. I think he wins Florida. I think he wins Maine. It's weird. How do I say this? Election day comes. Results won't be in. People will be watching the news. Neither candidate is going to concede no matter what the election results on the election day are. Mail-in ballots will continue to be counted. There will be insane media coverage and discussion about how the ballots are being counted, why some ballots aren't being counted. There will be ballots that will be lost. 1,000% will be ballots that will be lost. And if in a state like Nevada, where a 1,000 ballot difference could be the difference between winning a state and losing a state, I could see either candidate, whoever loses, saying this is an illegitimate election. Trump has already, sort of hinted at not accepting the results of the election. Do I think he's not going to accept the results of the election? I don't know. I don't know if he'll care if he really loses. I could see him. I don't know what is there. But everything he's said so far, I don't know if he's just playing into like the liberals' crazy beliefs that there's not going to be a peaceful transfer of power.
Yeah.
But on that same note, Hillary Clinton at the DNC told Joe Biden not to concede under any circumstance.
Yeah.
So how are you going to criticize Donald Trump when your former candidate is telling the Democratic Party not to accept the results of the election?
Well, want to hear something crazy? Twitter and Facebook, I think, said that if Donald Trump claims that he won the election before the final results are in, they'll like ban his tweets.
No.
They'll take down his tweets. Didn't say the same thing about Joe Biden.
Oh boy.
That's kind of crazy to me. But yeah, I think election night's going to be weird because it's going to come in and Trump's going to win by a lot, because I saw some study that was like Republicans are like 3 times more likely to vote in person, whatever. So I think Trump will, like, on election night, it'll look like Trump's going to win by a landslide. And then it's just how much does that lead shrink as it's coming back? How much, like, how far back does it come? And does Joe Biden, like, make it across the line? It's going to be a weird week, months.
I really think it'll be months.
But with Bush v. Gore, they set up something that if it's like you stop counting at a certain point. And maybe it changes because of weird circumstances this year, but it wasn't that long. Like it was like, I think it was by the end of the year.
Yeah, but the Supreme Court will, I think, because of the mail-in ballots, I think if one candidate decides to sue, it'll go to the Supreme Court quickly. They'll take it on as like a special case.
Yeah.
But if Trump has the majority of the justices...
Well, he'll have 6-3.
Look at Bush v. Gore. They voted along party lines. Every single Supreme Court justice voted along party lines. So
yeah,
they could very well do the same thing with Trump.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be...
rioting.
It's going to be
streets,
unlike...
no matter who wins.
Yeah,
actually, I take that back. Trump loses, concedes the election. He doesn't put up a fight. No rioting. Everything goes back to normal. I think Trump supporters will stay, for the most part, fairly reserved. If Trump loses and blames mail-in balloting and says that the election was rigged, there will be mass rioting.
Yeah, and if Trump wins,
there
will be mass rioting.
Regardless.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it'll be... See, it's hard for me to predict who's going to win because every time I think to myself, Joe Biden's going to win, I just look at 2016 again and I think, well, let's compare the candidates, Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. Is Joe Biden that much better of a candidate than Hillary Clinton? Absolutely not.
No.
But has Trump really hurt himself while he's been in office? Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be... I think it's going to be... I don't know. If it's going to be... I could see it going either a crazy blowout or being close. I really have no idea what's going to happen.
Maybe it was you that was telling me about this. I was watching a video or something, and they said that if Trump wins in a blowout, everything's fine. If Biden wins in a blowout, everything's fine.
No,
if it's close... Was it you that was telling me about this?
So what it was if Biden wins in a blowout, that's the only time that everything's going to be fine.
Oh, that's it.
Trump wins in a blowout, Biden wins close, Trump wins close, then they see massive civil unrest. And the FBI is like preparing for like election day violence. Like they just put out a report saying that. Yeah, so the only result that was they weren't expecting like crazy amounts of civil unrest is if Biden wins in a blowout, which makes sense. That's kind of like logically to me makes sense that I don't see Trump supporters like losing their minds if Biden wins in a blowout.
What do you think about the debates? What do you think about Trump essentially refusing to condemn white supremacy? Although he has condemned white supremacy now, and although he may have misspoke, that's a pretty big mistake to not just say to the moderator, I condemn all forms of white supremacy.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's too stubborn.
So in the same, like sense that I'm like, that's stupid that he doesn't do that. How many times does he have to do that? That question comes up so much, and he does it every time. I mean, he's done it a bunch of times, like condemned white supremacy. And it's like, I don't know. And I think he's just so stubborn that he's like, okay, I'm going to be obstinate. He felt like he had, like, that Chris Wallace was against him, like Biden was against him. It's the world against Trump. And so I think he's just contrarian to be contrarian. And he doesn't, not that he doesn't have the critical thinking skills, but he just doesn't know where to stop it. Like, so he's contrarian with everything, even on stuff that he should probably be like, yeah, okay, like, back off. And I didn't even, what was the exact wording of the question? Did he said, ask about white supremacy, or did he ask, was it about the Proud Boys?
It was about white supremacy.
Okay.
And then he said, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
Yeah, and I think that got, listening to it, I think that got kind of misinterpreted. That I think his thing was like, don't, like, 100%. we're gonna take care of it, like, just, like, back off, like, don't do anything. And I think it got, like, it was more like, it more got interpreted in the media as, like, get ready to do something, than I think how he meant it was just, like, don't do anything, we've got it taken care of.
I think they need a woman to moderate the next debate.
I think they need Joe Rogan to moderate the next debate.
Imagine, dude.
I think it would be good, because Joe Rogan would not take crap from them. Like, Trump speaking over, if Trump started interrupting Joe Biden, Rogan would be like, dude, shut up. Like, stop talking. Let Biden talk.
Chris Wallace, that was the worst moderating performance I've seen in a long time. I think he did a poor job with questions. I think he did a poor job managing the candidates. Look at Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton did a much better job with Trump, but I think it's because they had a good moderator. They had that woman that's from, I think it's PBS. I can't remember.
I have no idea.
I have no idea what her name is, but she did an excellent job moderating one of those debates. I want to say Chris Wallace moderated.
He probably moderated Trump, the Fox ones.
Debates.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Regardless, I don't think Wallace had a great night. I don't think either of the candidates had a great night. I think Trump was a total D-bag the entire debate.
Well, the thing is I think they both did what they wanted. Like, Biden didn't look too, like, out of it, and Trump, like, played to his base. And to kind of just the casual observer, everyone's like, dude, Trump's being a jerk, like, whatever, like, he's being loud, interrupting, like, not being civil. But to his base, that plays perfectly. That's what his base wants to see.
As much as I hate Ben Shapiro, he said it best. He said that Trump failed the debate because the only thing he had to do was let Joe Biden talk. That was the only thing Trump had to do. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden would and will self-destruct if he's giving 4 minutes of just talking about policy, about coronavirus. I thought Joe Biden handled himself well, but overall...
But it's because Trump only let him speak for 10 seconds.
Yeah. And then Biden goes, shut up, man. It's like, you're going to be president of the United States. Don't you ever call Trump disrespectful or outlandish again, because you're on the debate stage in front of millions of Americans telling another grown man to shut up.
Yeah, that's why
Trump shushed Jeb Bush in the Republican debate in 2016. He shushed him, and I have never seen more of an outroar than when he shushed Jeb Bush. No. Biden says, shut up, man. And the left on Instagram are like,
got
yes,
him.
queen.
Yeah. I think that's why I want the Joe Rogan debate, because it would kill both candidates. Like, everyone would be like, oh man, both of these guys are awful, because, like, Biden couldn't have, like, a fully formed conversation, and Trump would just have Joe Rogan tell him to shut up the entire time, and it would look stupid.
It would never happen. Never in a million years.
Trump agreed to it, but
Biden, never in a million years.
Yeah, which I think says a lot about...
Bernie and Trump, maybe.
Oh, it would happen. I think it would happen for sure if it was Bernie and Trump.
The Bernie Sanders campaign released, like, a statement after Joe Rogan came out and supported them, and then got a bunch of backlash.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Bernie Sanders really accepts that. He never You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they said like they don't, like there's no affiliation, kind of like they don't, not that they don't, I don't know, like kind of he endorsed him, but it's not like any like partnership or whatever. I think he'd do it though, because I think in a format like that, any capable candidate would eviscerate Trump. And so if you like, and it makes a good candidate look a lot better and a bad candidate look a lot worse to have a long form conversation like that. And so I think any candidate that's pretty confident, like Yang or Gabbard or even like Kamala Harris, would love the opportunity. They all asked to go on Rogan's show. Like Biden's team asked to go on Rogan's show during the primaries.
They did?
Yeah, and Rogan turned him down.
Why?
Why did Rogan turn him down? Because he didn't want to, like, I just don't think he cared. Like, he didn't think he was going to have an interesting conversation with them.
And now he's the Democratic nominee. I don't really understand that. That was a stupid decision on Joe Rogan's part.
I don't know. I think, would it have been interesting to just hear about, like, Barack
100%.
Obama 2.0?
100%. Yeah.
I
I would have
don't
listened
know.
to that entire thing and eaten it all up.
I don't know.
Who are you voting for?
I don't know.
You're not
Honestly,
going to say who you're voting for?
I'm not, like, I'd probably third party, but we're in Utah, so it really doesn't matter a whole lot, whatever way we vote. Yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe Joe Jorgensen. I don't know. What about you?
I want to vote for... Okay, so let's say Joe Biden had chosen Elizabeth Warren as his running mate. I would have voted for Joe Biden. Let's say he chose Bernie Sanders, Cory Booker, Tulsi Gabbard.
Anybody else besides Kamala Harris?
Anyone but Kamala Harris. I probably would have voted for Joe Biden. Kamala Harris, to me, and like I said, I watch a lot of Senate questioning and Senate confirmations. Every time I watch her, she seems a lot more liberal than Biden, which is fine. Like I said, I would have voted for Elizabeth Warren, but she just comes off as like a rude person. I just see her as a rude, ignorant person.
Well,
That's how I see her, and it has nothing to do with race or being a woman, because I would have voted for Elizabeth Warren. I would have voted for Tulsi Gabbard. And think about her record as Attorney General of California.
Yeah, she's just a hypocrite. Like, what's the thing that came out?
And Biden is too, to be fair.
Oh, yeah. What's the thing that came out like last week that she was like, oh, yeah, Tupac's the best rapper alive.
Who's gonna tell her?
Wait a minute.
Who is gonna tell her?
Something happened like 20 years ago that you should probably know about.
He's in Cuba.
He is in Cuba.
We're gonna get shadow banned for that conspiracy theory.
Not that one, but well, and then she was like, oh, like I loved like listening to Tupac and smoking weed in college. Tupac hadn't released an album when she was in college. She implied it. She was like, someone asked her if she like ever like smoked weed, and she was like, well, my family's Jamaican. I think that's all you need to know.
Oh, really?
That was her quote. While, mind you, there's still people in jail that she prosecuted for possession of marijuana.
In a state that has now legalized
marijuana. It's ridiculous. It's just so hypocritical. And like, I'm not saying like I can't support her, so I support Trump, but like, I just don't. She's just ridiculous to me. And the whole like, when Tulsi Gabbard like kind of came for her in the debate, and I thought shut her down, like kind of ended her chances at getting the nomination. She like called her a Russian asset.
That was Hillary Clinton.
But Kamala agreed.
I don't know about that.
No, she did it was on, and I know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
what she said.
But I think you should come out against that. Like even no kind of mention of that. That's crazy that someone criticizes you and then you automatically, like, the establishment attacks Tulsi Gabbard as a Russian asset? Like, how wild is that?
Yeah, I think so. Going back to sort of what I was saying, Kamala Harris, scary to me. Biden is how old? And we could be looking at a Kamala Harris presidency if I vote for Joe Biden. And on the other end, you have Trump and Pence. I don't want to vote for Trump, and I don't want to vote for Kamala Harris.
Kanye West, America's candidate.
Third party candidate. Is it Kanye? I don't know. I'm thinking about it. That guy's crazy, though. Can you imagine a Kanye West presidency?
Dude, I don't know. Some of the stuff he said, like...
Dude, talk to that guy about the war in Libya.
Oh, yeah,
or
obviously.
Talk to him about...
He has no idea. But the stuff he did say, like, was kind of... I mean, he was very, like, I want jobs in America, which is a good thing. But obviously, it's Kanye West. Like, who? Like, obviously, he's not a legitimate candidate. But, yeah, I don't know. It's brutal for the neutral... yeah, it's a difficult decision for anybody that isn't one way or the other too far. Well, even, I mean, you talked about might have a Kamala presidency. What about Trump with coronavirus?
I think it'll be fine. But
I think he's fine too. Yeah.
What if we're looking at a Pence presidency?
Yeah, who knows? Because before...
Just kidding. I don't think he'd ever be elected to president. I think Trump's got 4 more years in him.
Yeah. I do too. But what if something goes wrong with the coronavirus right now? Like with Trump having the coronavirus right now.
That'd be weird.
So what happens? I think, like, if it's...
I honestly think that it would go to the courts. And I think they could have people revote. I think you'd be allowed to revote.
Yeah, if it goes before the election, do you just, like, if something happened before the election, do they just bump Pence up to president? You're
talking about the RNC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do they pick somebody else?
I think... Oof. See, I don't know.
Like, would they put a Ted Cruz?
Can you imagine?
Or a Mitt Romney? They don't like Mitt Romney right now.
Mitt Romney.
But,
I don't like him either.
But I think more people would like him than Trump.
Mitt Romney?
He's more likely to get people down the middle's vote than Trump.
I've never subscribed to the belief that a centrist candidate can win people down the middle. I don't think centrists vote for people like a Republican or a Democrat because like that.
Mitt Romney wins against Joe Biden. I think anybody besides Trump wins against Joe Biden.
You think?
Yeah.
Mitt Romney wins against Joe Biden. Sure. Mitt Romney wins against Obama. No. Mitt Romney wins against Bernie Sanders.
Probably not.
Warren.
I'm just talking about, like, do you put somebody, if the RNC gets to have their pick?
I think they run a woman. I think the RNC is going to run a woman in 2024.
Who do you think they run?
Her name. She was the former UN ambassador, former governor.
Condoleezza Rice?
No, not Condoleezza Rice.
Why am I saying that?
You know who I'm talking about, though. She was the UN ambassador, Nikki Haley.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'll run her in
I could see that. I'm voting for Ivanka in 2024.
Are you really? What sort of policy positions does she have that you agree with?
Have you seen people talk about that, though? They're like, okay, we want Trump now, Don Jr. in 2024, 2028, then Ivanka,
Donald Trump.
then Barron. Just a Trump dynasty, like the Kennedys, but Donald Trump starts it.
How about what's his name? The Kennedy that lost to the incumbent.
He lost to Ed Markey.
Yeah, what was his name? Was it Joe Kennedy? It was Joe Kennedy, I think.
Yeah, it was Joe Kennedy.
And they played that new Taylor Swift song.
The last great American.
Last great American dynasty.
Yeah. Dude, Ed Markey's kind of funny. He has a TikTok. His campaign has a TikTok. And it's like they've got a young person running it because it's pretty solid.
Really?
Yeah. And I think, I hate the idea of like political dynasties like that. Like any political dynasty to me is not great. Like whether it's Kennedy's, like Clinton's, that's just weird. That feels like aristocracy to me, that you can have
weird, huh?
a family that is running, like making major decisions.
What if Michelle Obama runs in 2024? There was rumors about her running in 2020, dude.
What qualifications as a politician does she have? And obviously
she was a better first lady than most.
Oh.
And her husband's Barack Obama.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but she doesn't have
a lawyer. I don't know if she was a lawyer before.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. I don't like that. I mean, like the Bush. I mean, what could you imagine if Bush Senior, like you'd have like if Bush Senior had won 2 terms, then Bush Jr. runs, like pretty quickly after that, right? You could have had like 20 years of Bush in the White House. And then what if Clinton wins, right? Like Bill Clinton is in for 8 years. Then it's Bush, then Obama, but Hillary Clinton's the Secretary of State. And then Hillary Clinton wins. One of the Clintons has been in power for almost 30 years. I don't like, it's crazy. Political dynasties are just wild to me. That I don't know how the Kennedy one lasted though, because they all died.
Anyways,
it just I just don't like political dynasties.
I wish we could talk about conspiracies more.
Yeah,
because we could totally talk about those.
Yeah, but
because I have some strong opinions on all of those, and it would be such interesting content.
Yeah, that's a maybe exclusive content. We'll start a Patreon, and you can if you're
still get banned on there too, bro.
If you're a patron, you can hear Jace's insane conspiracy theories and hear me shoot him down. Oh man, that'd be too much.
We gotta get it. We had Chris Peterson on. Now we have to get a Republican on.
Yeah,
but we have to get like a crazy Republican, someone in the Utah State Legislature that's just so conservative. I want to get one of them on. And just tear them apart.
I want to have a good conversation is what I want to have.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I want to get an idea of their beliefs, and then because there's some crazy conservative beliefs.
Oh yeah, but
and I feel like
I think it's more interesting that
ideologically I'm so much more liberal than I am conservative. I used to be more down the middle, but I'm way more liberal. The fact that I'm even thinking about voting for the Republican Party out of spite for the liberals so that we run a more liberal candidate in 2024 shows how much the Democrats have bundled.
Well, I've heard that's the strategy, is that like
people
far left people
in droves and vote for Trump so they can get
far left people want Trump to win so that to kind of try and move the Overton window further left in 2024. Bernie's too old in 2024.
He won't run again.
Who do you think they run? You think Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah, or you'll see if Biden wins, Kamala Harris will run in 2020. No, wait. It depends on if Joe Biden...
Does Biden go for re-election?
Depends if he's alive.
Dude, there's no way. In 4 years, as bad as he is now, in 4 years...
He would be 92 in 4 years?
Is he that old? No, 82.
Yes, I think he's that old.
No.
Is he in his 70s or his 80s?
It's got to be 70s.
Are you sure?
There's no way he can't be in his 80s.
Really?
No, because
he's 3 years older than Trump?
Yeah, so he might be like 80. I think Trump's 77.
Oh, why did I think he was so much older?
Yeah.
Either way, that's still really old.
Yeah.
Both of them are
I don't
really
think
old.
he runs for re-election. I don't think they let him.
Who do the Democrats run in 2024?
It's got to be,
Elizabeth
Cory
Warren
Booker,
run,
Elizabeth Warren. I hope Yang runs again. I like Yang a lot.
He was okay, but he never came out with enough policy positions for me.
He didn't have a chance. He didn't get a chance on the debate stage.
I guess.
He
didn't assert himself on the debate stage. That's what you have to do. He just stood there.
Pleasant on the debate stage. He wasn't.
You can't be pleasant in politics.
Yeah, which is a problem, I think. I like Tulsi Gabbard. She's pretty solid. I think they'll run. I think it'll be Warren.
Really? You think they'll back Warren?
They wanted Warren. They wanted Warren.
I think she would have destroyed Trump.
I think anybody would have destroyed Trump.
He called her Pocahontas on the debate stage.
Dude, I don't feel bad about that. Her whole stunt with the I'm Native American, and then did the DNA test and was 1 in 1,000. I have no sympathy for that. You get everything that's coming for you.
Elizabeth.
You get everything that's coming for you for pulling that stunt.
You know what's worse than that? That she applied to Harvard to teach and said she was Native American on her application. You heard about this, right?
Yeah, that's so bad.
That should be against the law.
It is against the law. Like, that's an official document. But I think that's who they backed because they wanted her. They pushed hard for her.
For a while.
Until she came out with that thing with Bernie Sanders that she was like, that might be the worst debate moderation I've ever seen.
That was certainly the worst debate moment I've ever seen.
When she said, so she came out and said, Bernie Sanders told me 4 years ago that he thinks a woman could never be president. And Bernie Sanders is like, what? No, I didn't. I most certainly did not. And then, so they get to the debate and the moderator's like, Senator Sanders, how did you, are you denying that you said that a woman could never be president? And Bernie's obviously like, yeah, I never said that. Like, I think my record speaks for itself. Like, I would never say something like that. And then the moderator turns to Elizabeth Warren and says, how did you feel when Bernie Sanders said that a woman could never be president?
Everyone on the debate stage laughed. Like, almost everyone laughed. Because it's a joke. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
That is pathetic moderation.
I don't like Warren because of the like Native American thing and that.
I not like her nearly as much. But her policy positions I'm 1,000 on board with. Because she is a lot more liberal than Joe Biden, but she's not Bernie Sanders liberal, where he wants to redistribute 10% of billion-dollar companies to workers.
That was a weird thing.
That's pushing it even for me. And I'm basically on board with democratic socialism, but even for me, I'm like,
they were backing Warren a lot. I don't see anybody new coming out of the woodworks.
I bet they'll have a new candidate. They'll have another Barack Obama type candidate.
You think?
Yeah, it won't be Cory Booker, but
yeah,
and it won't be anyone like Joe Kennedy. It won't be. I don't know. They'll find a young senator, I think, that'll come out.
Yeah, I don't know who they run. It'll be interesting to see.
Imagine if Matt Gaetz runs in 2024.
Matt Gaetz.
The congressman from Florida? You know him.
He
is everywhere. You know Matt Gaetz. You 1,000% know
Matt
Gaetz.
I know. I recognize the name. He
has brown hair, shorter brown hair.
Not ringing a bell.
So
That's weird.
How about that congressman, the super young guy? He's going to be the youngest congressperson.
Dude, I'm so
elected.
bad.
In the wheelchair.
I'm
disabled? Dude, you need to get on the news.
I'm good.
Brother.
I'm good with senators. It's just Congress people from like other states.
I know random Congress people.
I struggle with that. But
you know what we haven't talked about?
What?
Good morning.
Yeah,
Beautiful Sunday morning.
So we led with that.
That was so out of context.
So we led with that, and people were probably pretty confused unless you like have heard the story. But Nancy Pelosi giving an interview. What's that guy's name? Like,
I don't know his name. He's the journalist for ABC.
Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah.
Stephanopoulos.
Okay. So he's asking a question, and he's like, "Are you like?" They're talking about how they could stop the Supreme Court nomination, or they're like, "Are you gonna impeach? Like, do you think you could impeach Trump, or is that just like one of the arrows in your quiver?" Nancy Pelosi resets.
And this is the
reboots.
middle of the interview. She had been giving very scripted responses the entire interview. George Stephanopoulos goes, so what sort of arrows do you believe that you have in your so-called quiver? And she goes, good morning. Beautiful Sunday morning.
Or so, was it? Yeah, it was like, good morning. Sunday morning.
Was it even a Sunday?
I have
There's
no
no
idea.
way that was on a Sunday.
No, I think it was on a Sunday. I think.
Still terrible.
But
Horrifying.
what is going on? Like that. I mean, we don't get into conspiracy theories much, but that sounded like a computer rebooting. Well, it's like when your iPhone turns back on after it died, and it like has the like hello and all the different languages.
Yeah.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
That was scary.
What a weird, and like you see Stephanopoulos, like
He literally just
What?
makes his face.
he goes, is that like what's going on? That was the one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's like there's like the Al Roker clip where he's like in the middle of an interview and just like stops and just stands there and stares.
I don't know about this.
It's some like he's like the like Good Morning America, one of those guys, the host for that, and he's doing some interview, and it's kind of the same thing where he just like, it looks like he reboots.
No.
Like it looks like he shuts down, like there's a power surge, he shuts down and is coming back online and keeps going. But could you imagine if Trump had done that? The like coverage of that, and Nancy Pelosi just got like brushed over. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
That was the weirdest interview I've ever seen.
Like, how does that? What, like, I get losing your train of thought, and like, but usually you like, it's like, oh, okay, one sec, like, let me get back into it. Not good morning, Sunday morning. Maybe it was just the video I watched, but I think she played the Microsoft reboot sound when he did that. But it's just, that was so weird. That was so weird. That was comedy. That was comedy.
That was not real, is what that was. That was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. So Trump has corona.
Yeah. What's the? I don't understand the conflicting reports coming out about it, because everything from Trump, like the doctor, everything is like Trump's doing good. Like mild symptoms, it's just precautionary. He's in the hospital, like precautionary. And then the New York Times comes out with some, and we have to talk about, there's another New York Times story we have to talk about, I just remembered. But the New York Times comes out, or some company, and says, what do they say? They're like, a source familiar with Trump's health says that his vitals are not looking good in the first 24 hours.
Who's the source?
What does that even mean? What type of journalism is that?
His vitals are not good. His vitals, not good.
Like, is his blood pressure high? Is that just how is that? How do people just let that off the hook? That it's like a source familiar with Trump's health. What is that?
Who's the source?
I'm sort
Your
of
next door neighbor.
Yeah, I'm sort of familiar with Trump's health. Like I saw him on TV the other day. Could I give the quote? Like what's going on?
We should try emailing the New York Times as an anonymous source and say we are an anonymous source linked to the Trump campaign. Blah blah blah, because something as vague as his vitals aren't strong. Like, what are you gonna do? Sue me for defamation? If his vitals aren't perfect, his vitals aren't that strong.
Oh well, that's probably fraud. Might be a problem, but I think, like, yeah, that was just weird to me. That like, who wrote that? How did that get through the person writing it? The editor-in-chief, like, how does that get published that you can just come with? And I've seen a million stories like that. Is a source familiar with Trump's campaign says he hates little children. It's like, what? What? I've seen my favorite is a source familiar with Trump's thinking Who's familiar with Trump's thinking besides Trump? There's not a single person.
Probably the same person that rebooted Nancy Pelosi mid-interview. That person probably knows what Trump is thinking.
There's no one. Trump's not even familiar with Trump's thinking. How is that a reputable source for your story that you're gonna like stir up crazy things? But so the other New York Times story I was talking about, it might have been the same one where they're talking about Trump having coronavirus. They say that should Trump get like have coronavirus and be struggling, he should be pulled from the ballot. The New York Times suggested taking him off the ballot if he has coronavirus.
No, that's not real.
New York Times. And you wonder why people are like, don't trust the media.
Did you see the pro-communist article that they posted too? They posted an op-ed from a communist party member in China or something along those lines. A communist member of China.
Like a CCP shill.
Yeah. Something
and they
like
wouldn't
that.
let Tom Cotton run an op-ed.
Right.
They pulled Tom Cotton's op-ed. And
what kind of world are we living in? The United States media is the worst media in the world? Borderline?
No.
At least we have... Listen, hear me out. At least we have differences of bullcrap. Like, there's the left bullcrap and the right bullcrap. I mean, in China, to be fair, they only have one bullcrap station. And it's the freaking China Communist
CCP.
Manifesto.
I wouldn't go that far as to say that.
Okay, we don't have the worst, but we have the... Do we have the worst of any Western nation?
I don't know.
Certainly the most divided.
Yeah.
Certainly the most... You can get away with whatever you want.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. Britain's media is pretty crazy, dude.
There's a lot of
Sky News.
It's
and
really
The Sun and The Atlantic.
Oh yeah, it's really easy to
Atlantic
get
is
stuck.
the
The Atlantic's the U.S.
Who's the other one? There's The Sun and the Daily Mirror, I think.
There's a
Britain.
bunch of those weird. I always see it for
Sky
soccer
News.
stuff. But yeah,
Dude.
it's easy in like kind of in our bubble of like America to be like we're the worst, whatever. And like our media is bad. Like I've constantly like I can't stand it's hard to find a good source because everything's so bad. But it's crazy how divided the media is, and it's just that's their goal. I saw on like Chris Tapper, is that his name?
I like him.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I like
Dude,
Chris Tapper.
someone, or it was either Chris Tapper or Brian Stelter. I can't remember which one it was, but someone was like, there's going to be a civil war. We're saying there's going to be a civil war.
I think that was Brian Stelter.
Yeah, I think it was Brian
mark my words
Stelter.
on that,
And Brian Stelter was like, or whichever one it was like, yeah, maybe. The media is talking about there being a civil war. The mainstream media is fear-mongering, saying there's going to be a civil war. I don't know how it could be any more obvious that the media is not like looking out for the interests of the American people.
Result of capitalism, that sort of media, where they're so focused on monetary gain that the benefits to the benefit of the nation. Wait, what am I trying to say? So they're so focused on monetary gain
That it's detrimental.
to the
people.
overall well-being of the nation.
Yeah, but to be fair, what does media look like in communist countries?
Let's think about that.
So
Xi Jinping, our great and fearless leader, once again saved millions of children.
like the North Korea media, have you seen the stories? Like, what was it? Kim Jong-un could speak like 4 languages by the age of 3. He like killed a snake in his cradle. That's like a Greek myth. They pulled that straight from a Greek myth.
Listen, our supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, strangled a polar bear with his bare hands today and used the carcass to defeat a dragon.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously media in like communist countries is so much better than so I don't know. What about Kim Jong-un? He's died twice this year.
He has. That poor man is very resilient, isn't he?
What was it, like 3 months ago? It came out that he was brain dead. He was in a coma. And then a week later, it came out that he was just doing it to weed out like people that would leak stories in like his inner circle. And then they did the exact same thing again.
I wonder what they're playing at over there. What's the bigger goal? Kim, listen, Kim Jong. Can I call you Kim? What's the goal here? You've died twice this year.
It's his last name.
You haven't sent a rocket in a while. Like, what's going on behind the scenes?
He's yeah, how does that happen? How do you report that like a major world leader is brain dead twice?
And I feel like that was like when we reported it in the United States, it was like CIA is following reports or FBI is following reports. Kim Jong-un may be brain dead.
I don't understand. And it was the exact same thing twice. Like I thought we were stuck in like Groundhog Day type loop because it was the exact same story coming out the second time.
Simulation is what it is.
It is a glitch in the simulation, but how does that happen? What on earth is like 2020? Like, could you imagine if all of a sudden reports came out that Trump was dead, and then a week later we found out that
he wasn't dead.
That he wasn't dead. He was just like kind of messing with people. And then 3 months later, the same thing happened. The exact same thing.
North Korea, dude.
How weird is that? I've seen people on like TikTok, like North Korea isn't that bad. Like, yeah, I don't know, dude.
Pyongyang is not that bad, guys.
Dude, trust me. I have seen the pictures from North Korea. Oh wait, there are no pictures that get out of North Korea besides the government propaganda.
Or how about LeBron James when he came out and supported China during the Hong Kong protests?
I don't get how like
you guys don't know the full story.
It's crazy. It shows performative activism is just like so widespread. I don't get how you can act like, I mean, because LeBron James is like an activist, like, right? Like he's using his platform for stuff, and then to come out and be like, oh man, like China's great, whatever, like China's awesome. How you do that, like how those two things go together, those can't fit together. If you're gonna come out with like Black Lives Matter, that type of stuff, you can't say that China's running concentration camps right now, and you told people,
Muslims are being put in concentration camps.
Yeah.
And LeBron James.
You guys don't know this full story though. Like it's probably all right. Like they're just re-education camps.
What's going on?
What? And it's bad that we're on the subject of China. Mulan, Disney's Mulan, in the credits, they thanked one of the directors of one of those camps. Because they filmed in the province that those concentration camps are in.
No.
Yeah. It's like people were boycotting Mulan because of it. I don't get it. It's such a, like, it's such a double standard that you can, when it's going to help you, like, kind of socially, financially, we come out and support these things. When it's going to hurt you, because coming out against China would hurt LeBron, would hurt Disney. It's immediate, like, turn around and go the opposite direction.
You know what's a scary thought to end the podcast with? If there was another world war and one country decided to use nuclear weapons, just one country, it could be the end of the world.
It couldn't happen.
It sure could, 100%.
It's never gonna happen. It doesn't.
I could see a world war happening within the next 5 years.
Not with nuclear weapons?
Why?
Why not? Who is that dumb that they want to kill everybody on the planet?
Kim Jong-un?
I don't think so.
Xi Jinping?
Dude.
You don't think...
Kim Jong-un...
He's actually really smart.
Kim Jong-un, he's playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers. Dude, he faked his death twice. He's not going to launch nukes.
That's a good point. I think Yeah, but it only takes one. It only takes one bad decision, one bad leader, one bad apple. And every country in the world would retaliate.
That's why I think it doesn't happen, because your entire country is blown off the face of the map if you shoot one nuke. So I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen like that ever.
So you don't see another world war?
I'm not saying that. I don't think there's going to be one.
Do you think there will be another world war in the next 5 years?
Not in the next 5 years. In the next 5 years?
In the next 10?
I don't know. I don't know the timeline. China moves too much in like secrecy to openly come out and like start a war. I think
I could see a Chinese movement to annex a country around them, just like Russia tried to do with Ukraine. I could see China trying to do that with. Look at what they're trying to do to Taiwan.
Yeah.
They're running military exercises with the jets flying over Taiwan.
Yeah.
If they were to invade Taiwan, that would be the beginning of another world war.
Maybe.
The U.S. would back Taiwan all the way to the freaking bank, dude.
That's true. I don't think, even if there was another world war, it's not fought with nuclear weapons. I mean, how long have we had nuclear weapons? And how many have been dropped on civilians? Or like, actually used in war? 2. The first 2 nuclear bombs used in war are the only 2 ever used. I mean, how high were the tensions during the Cold War that one little mistake, and I just don't think it'll ever happen. There was some guy involved with the project, I can't remember exactly, but his quote was like, World War III will be fought with or like, I don't know what World War III will be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't
like, as stupid as people are sometimes, I don't think anyone's like, it's a guarantee that you're blowing everybody in your country. Like, you're killing everyone in your country if you launch a nuclear weapon. I don't, because like, mutually assured destruction does not, and like, it doesn't end well for anybody.
If I were president of the United States, nuclear disarmament worldwide, peace treaty, sign. Pew, pew, pew. If you don't sign, this is what I think
what do you
the
do?
UN could
what
be
do you
used
do?
for. This is what I think the UN could be used for, but the UN is the most useless institution. Powerless, useless. Say what you want about the UN. They're useless. There could be a worldwide nuclear disarmament treaty that I think would have wide support.
Mm-hmm.
But because there would be no one to hold those countries accountable, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. But the problem is no one would trust other countries enough.
That's why you have independent commissions, and you have to open your country up to review and inspection from the independent commissions.
We've tried that though, and it didn't really work.
The only country we tried that with was Russia.
Iran.
Oh, that's true. Iran.
That didn't work.
I was thinking of Iran.
That didn't work too good.
Well, that's because the Iran nuclear deal was one of the worst deals ever constructed.
I don't know.
Probably the worst deal ever constructed.
I think I agree with you that like nuclear disarmament should be a thing. I don't know. I think we just need to get it to as low a level as possible. Like, just get it. Like, I don't know if there's any way you could get it to an absolute, like, there are no nuclear bombs in existence, but you should get it to as small a number of that as possible. And 0 would be the goal, but who knows how many, like, because would the U.S. ever get rid of their nuclear bombs until they knew no other country on the planet had nuclear bombs?
No.
Would Russia? Would China?
No, but it could happen. It could happen.
Maybe. I don't know.
Give it 50 years. If we can avoid a world war for another 50 years, it'll happen.
Yeah, in 50 years, though, who knows what other weapons will be worse than...
Aliens? 2021, aliens?
2020. That would be a way to cap off the year. That's it.
Christmas.
I think that's a good way. Yeah, Christmas Day. Just massive.
Good morning, Sunday morning. That's what the aliens play as they cruise in their giant battleships.
They were priming us. They're the ones that hacked Nancy Pelosi.
Good morning, Sunday morning. over the loudspeakers.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Yeah.
we need to end this
All right,
podcast.
let's wrap this up.
Oh, good
Okay,
episode.
good one.
As always. Jeez, how long was that?